I'm on the fifth day of a 60-day diet, which involves a lot of exercise. And I woke up this morning just feeling just really bummed out and just weird. I don't know what it is. As my body gets healthier, my mind is racing to catch up. It's like, okay, I miss my sugar. I miss my beer. I miss my pot. I miss all these things, but it's sort of like you have to release. You have to detox at certain times, and this is what I'm going through right now. So it's encouraging because, I took my before picture and I could see just how horribly fat I was, my love handles, my ass, my gut, everything. It's just terrible. Hopefully at the end of 60 days, I'll be able to show you a before and after picture. But it has been rough. It's good to stay busy, and I've been keeping a journal, just a legal pad, just writing down every day what exercises I do and what I'm eating. And so, with the exception of a couple eggs, and I did crack and have some sour cream and onion potato chips the other day, I've decided to go mostly vegan. And veganism in Vietnam is quite easy, actually. I just got this. This is just half a bag of the fresh tofu that I got this morning, and this was my lunch. I had this and a couple bell peppers, and it was quite good. I just put a little dish of soy sauce and just dip it in there. It's really great. But this bag here, this is half of 15,000 dong bag, and 15,000 dong is less than $1. So this is like 50 cents, 40 cents worth of tofu, which is ridiculous compared to what I was paying for tofu back in the States, which I did eat sometimes, but it was kind of a luxury. Here it's just such an everyday, easy food to get your hands on, so that's been great. I've also been going to the vegan buffet the last couple of days. It's been pretty good. And when you eat less sugar, I've found that you taste the sweetness in fruits and vegetables a lot more. But again, it's only been 5 days, so we'll see how I am at the end of this, if I even manage to succeed at this 60-day, what I call the Yellow Whale Challenge after the Blue Whale Challenge, which is that horrible game started in Russia that convinced all these teenagers to commit suicide after 50 days of service. Well, this is 50 days of self-service. This is 50 days of wellness. And I called it the Yellow Whale Challenge because I had a bottle of Chilsung cider, which is basically Korean 7-Up, but it had this beautiful image of a yellow whale in front of it. And I was going to save it for this video and show it to y'all, but on the first day, going through this pangs of just craving sugar, which I was getting from alcohol, but now I allow myself like one soft drink a day, or two at most, which has been helping a lot, helping curb that quite a bit. But at the same time, even though my body feels a lot better, and I've been doing a lot of exercise, and I've been writing it all down now, and eating a lot less, my mind is still a bit sluggish. It's still trying to cope with what's going on. And, sometimes I just feel bummed out for no reason. But the fact is, well, I do understand why I'm feeling bummed out. And that does take the edge off quite a bit, because I can at least say to myself, well, this isn't really my thinking, this is just my body. This is just the microbes in my body craving sugar, craving that junk that I was giving it. This is just them telling me, oh, you're worthless, you suck, or I'll have a really stressful dream about not having enough money or something. And so, of course, when you cut back and you cut out certainly cannabis, like, you have very vivid REM dreams, and these REM dreams are such a thing that, I just feel really sad, then I just snap out of it and I think, it's just a dream, it's just in my head. All of this is simply in my head. And when you're tired, like yesterday, I rode my bicycle 40 kilometers, and I got home at like 11 o'clock, and it's like, I'm not thinking about partying, I'm thinking about just putting on a movie and falling asleep. And I couldn't even get to the opening credits of the film I was watching. And so I wake up after 2 hours and it's closing, and I'm like, okay, well, time to close the computer, time to turn off all the technology, just sit in natural darkness and just have a normal night's sleep, which is something that can be hard to find when you're used to living it up, living like a rock star overseas. Oh man, it's gonna be rough. It helps to think in fractions, 5 days out of 60, that means on the 20th of the way there, just 19 more steps. Oh boy, we'll see. But I was inspired by my older brother out in Chicago, and he had sent me a before and after picture. And like me, he enjoys his wine, and he's always had a healthier diet. But I think he's a father that affects things, and he works a lot more than I do that affects things. But yeah, I don't know. I'm doing this not for him. I'm doing it for me, but I have this goal in mind that at the end I'll have the before picture with my breasts and my love handles and my gut, and I'll have an after picture, and we'll see what change has been made. And if living like a rock star is better for me anyway, then at least I'll have had a break from it. You enjoy things a lot more when you take time. Thing about alcohol, right? If you drink every day, you don't really feel it. Same thing with marijuana. If you smoke pot, if you have a toke every morning, then it's sort of like you only notice it when it's missing. But if you wait for a month or two, then you really feel it. Then you really get inspired and weird, and you feel all kinds of, I don't know, the high lasts for hours and everything, rather than the pathetic 10 or 20 minutes you might get from smoking a bowl in the morning. Sorry to be so frank about all this, but the fact is, we all need to go through detox sometimes. And going through it, I think of, gosh, I know certainly other men out here who come here and it's just sort of like spring break. 20 years of spring break, and you get to this point where you don't even feel it. You just sort of get numb. I knew this guy who was selling drugs out here, and he started a GoFundMe because he had all these medical problems, because he was shitting his pants and he was puking and everything. But the one thing he refused to give up was all the psychedelics and all the smoking and even the drinking. He claimed that he wasn't drinking, but I'd seen him drunk more than once, so I don't know. And drinking's a lot worse when you're mixing it with GHB and ecstasy and God knows what else he was on. Who knows, man? But he's 40 years old. That's only 5 years older than me, and I'm like, oh, I'll be fine by then. Well, I don't know that for sure. There's no guarantees. And maybe if he had a 60-day yellow whale challenge in the same way that I'm going through, maybe it'd be better later on. Every hour of delay makes the struggle a lot worse. I think it was Mary Baker Eddy who said that. Anyway, so yeah, this is my plan. I'm just going to write down everything I eat, because simply writing it down makes a huge difference, because then you're accountable. It's not for anyone else, but at least if I look at my food journal, if I had been writing down what I had been eating before, it would have been like, okay, I've had 4 hard-boiled eggs, I've had 2 bags of chips, I've had 4 beers, I've had a hamburger. Who knows what else I was on, what else I was eating or drinking, But it's sort of like, well, okay, if I have to write down that I had a 7-Up, well then this 7-Up is going to count. If I have to write down a bag of chips, that bag of chips felt like it felt like a real indulgence. Delayed gratification. That's the name of the game. We'll see. I'll be through this by the end of Halloween, and then November, and we'll see what happens. We'll see how I change my mind or whatever. But I went through like a full month where I didn't touch, or more than a month where I didn't touch any booze at the start of the summer. But then summer happens, we're all partying. It's sort of just carefree existence, which is so integral to living in Vietnam. You have to find a balance. I don't want to end up like a lot of these old people I meet out here, and by old people I mean not much older than me, who just become pleasure sponges and refuse to take any responsibility. So at least for a couple of months I'm going to do that, and I'll give you guys updates. And once I get through this yellow whale challenge, I might propose one for everyone else. I might do another 60 days and talk about that. But in the meantime, it kind of sucks. I don't know. Should I even be talking about it so early on in the game? It's so soon. I mean, will it even last 60 days? It's really hard. It's hard to think about, but you just have to go one day at a time. And Halloween isn't that far away. And when I think about these last this last year even, you know, I can't believe it's September already. Like, these months have just flown by. The first few months were very hard for me, and then summer came and I was just enjoying myself, and now it's like, you know, I have to get real. I have to get back to my senses. And so I wish all of you the best of luck out there if you are going through a diet or any kind of exercise routine like I am. It really sucks, but even this soon on, I do feel some benefits, and something that's been helping me is just realizing how good it is just to be lucid and aware all the time. I mean, that's something that I took for granted as a kid, but now it's like a whole new wonderful experience. So it's worth any pain. Over and out.